Lithium is a metal used to make batteries for electric vehicles and is critical to the clean energy transition.
The future of transportation in our nation and around the world is electric.
Traders and companies are betting that there won't be enough lithium supply to meet demand in the years ahead.
These factors have electric vehicle makers worried that they won't be able to secure enough of the metal, and that could hinder the transition to a low-carbon future.
Lithium-ion batteries, they were invented here. A lot of the technology that is being applied is licensed to companies overseas because the infrastructure here we don't have anymore, we lost.
Around the same time, a massive lithium refining industry was growing in China.
China was really the first place where the EV revolution started taking off in a way that it hasn't in the US, but it is now happening in Europe. So the fact that a lot of lithium conversion capacity is in China is just an artifact of the fact that they had to start making batteries 5 to 10 years sooner than the rest of us did.
On a per capita basis, I suspect we're going to be one of the biggest users of lithium in the world. And frankly, sending lithium to a lithium carbonate we may make in the US and sending it to China for further processing makes absolutely no sense. We need to have that independent production. China is able to do things in a very impressive manner, but they aren't always our friends.
Welcome. This is Mike from Verity Daily, and we're going over why I think it's the end of the electric vehicle. Not in a sense where you're just never going to see an electric vehicle like the AMC Pacer, okay? Or, I don't know, American Motors, right? Nothing like that. We're not talking about the end. What I'm talking about is the end of everyone being able to afford it, or even a realistic price. Okay. Now, I'm not a prognosticator, a prophet, whatever. I can't see the future, but what I can see is practicality. Okay. Now, when I was younger and I remember buying a vehicle, even looking at a vehicle, and I thought, $10,000 for a brand new vehicle. I mean, other people you can identify if you're older, you might have said $6,000. I remember my folks, they built a brand new house for $6,000 from start to finish, everything. Okay. So it's all relative, right? About what you're paying. But from what I'm talking about, I remember a 1976 Pontiac Trans Am Firebird that was $6,000. Okay. And that was like 1980, right? So, anyways, I'm getting off subject. Sometimes I just start, flowing down memory lane, but, yeah, so I don't really, I think there's a place and a time, but just like other things that moved in and moved out of, practical purposes, I think now you're looking at a reasonable price electric vehicle at this day and age, at the time of this video, around $50,000 to $55,000. Now, as we go through the years, obviously the inflation's going to tag on, 16% or so onto that every year. So you can do the math yourself and find out where this is going, right? And I just think that, unless the average income goes up tremendously, maybe they need to do a reduction. Okay, everything across the board is being cut 30%. All right, everything's cut 30%. And bring that back down, where people are making X amount of dollars relative to the cost of something else. So if you're making, $2 or $3, $5, $6,000 a week now, you make $2,000 a week, and that vehicle from $55,000 goes down to 25,000, because it's all the same as what the way I'm looking. It's all percentages, right? You're just not taking, a boatload of money to go purchase a vehicle when you make a boatload of money. You follow what I mean? So I'm getting off on a little tangent here, but what I wanted to relay to you is that, the research that I've done and the practicality of the vehicles. Now we're moving into this day and age into totally neutral, carbon neutral situation, right? So, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now, they want to be out this carbon vehicle, oil, gas type thing. So if you look at the longevity of a battery, it's roughly about 10 years, and you do lose some of that efficiency from day one. So you don't have that, 20, 30% at 5 years and 40, 50% at 8 years or whatever it is. So that life of that battery is not you're going to spend, that's where all the money's at in these vehicles. I mean, you brake pads, you're not doing oil changes, you're not replacing carburetors and fuel injection systems and all that. It's the battery, okay? And that's where the cost of the vehicle is going to lie, in that battery, whatever the price of manufacture of that battery is. So if you purchase a car today, and 15 years from now, you wanted to get a new battery for that car, it depends on that battery price. That battery might be $15,000. Can you redo a battery, and like you can use a battery like in your car and just go get it rebuilt and buy another used battery that's been rebuilt? I don't know. I mean, you got to have Elon Musk or some of these other people. Can you take a battery and, redo it, take it out of the car, do whatever function, put more lithium in it, more nickel, whatever they do to build that battery? But what is striking me is the cost of the mining and the materials, the lithium and the nickel. Okay, so we're entering a whole different dimension compared to what we have been for the last 100 and maybe 30 years or so with fuel powered vehicles, right? So do we what happens to that vehicle? What's the cost? Okay, so I think basically you're going to have people purchasing, whether it's hydrogen or electrical or that type of thing. You're going to have individuals that can pay these high premiums for electric vehicles. And the rest of us, or them, whoever you want to, low income people, are going to have to rely on a secondary form of transportation, whether it be rail system, whether it be the buddy system, whether it be a Lyft or Uber or some of them type of transportation. And they're going to have to move into an environment where they can get out of the suburbs and out of the more non-urban areas, so to speak, whether you're in a rural area or suburban area where you can just walk down to the corner store or the hardware store or these type of areas. And I'm sure that wherever you're listening to me in the world, you might be in one of them environments. But the majority of people live outside where they're actually taking transportation and going to whether shopping or wherever it may be, and they don't have mass transit. So it's going to have to be something that they're going to do one of these little smaller type mom and pop places that these big corporations own, where they only have a selected amount, where they can open these little shops on the corners and just put products in there that you're going to use all the time. And if you did need to go out to get something, you might have to have some other form of transportation to get you something that's not, or it'll be delivered. So these are the type of things where we have these luxuries now. And I don't think the way that these people are pushing it, the globalists, the elite, whoever's holding all the cash for these items are pushing in that direction. Okay. So we see what's going on with the movement of out of oil and gas. And I always try to pinpoint who's going to make the most money out of this. Are we moving the money from the rich petroleum type guys into more like the bankers part of it? I look at it like who's going to benefit, who are going to be the uber rich? Who are the guys that are going to make the top money? Because if you look at, the Saudis and the people that run OPEC and the oil companies, are they're part of this conglomerate of globalists of the elite, right? Why is it time to spread that wealth out to more people, or is it trying to condense it into a form of just? You can drill for oil in a vast amount of places, right? You can drill oil in most areas of the world, right? But you can't find lithium or nickel in most places of the world, right? You're not drilling in the bottom of the ocean. You're not, United States only has a selected few places where they can find lithium. I think one's in Nevada and the other one's in North Carolina. But the one in North Carolina, it's not as pure a quality as you would find in somewhere in South America or Australia, that type of place. So is it more of who owns the property or who owns it now to be put in them type of hands, or who's going to hold all the credits to the carbon tax? So there's a lot of in here, and I'm sure that the people are making the rules, they know where the money's going. And I look at these people that run these type of things, they don't live forever. It's the process that they use. So if you look at guys like J.P. Morgan and people like that back then, they're gone. But that whole process lasts for hundreds and thousands of years. It just kind of continues, and another guy takes the place over that same process, that same thought process, that where they want to take everything it's almost like if you look at when oil was first came on the scene, and you look at countries that produce this oil, where it's found, their living, their not cost of living, just their quality of life increased dramatically. I mean, unless they were a dictatorship or one family owned them, like in Saudi Arabia, there's a few people that own it. But if you like the United States, you're looking at some of the other parts of the world that had oil come and then some of it lost, like Venezuela kind of rose and then it fell. So you look at the actual chart of these countries that have oil and produced oil, their quality of life, their, all the way around, mostly drastically went up. But I don't know how this lithium is. Right now, the nickel is, a lot of it's produced in Russia, and for the batteries. And lithium goes into every battery you can think of, whether it's your cell phone, your camera, a lot of your toys, and the list goes on and on. But so the whole title of this video is, I think it's really the end of the electric vehicle for the common person. Now you can go out, like and you can purchase a older vehicle, like say from the 1960s and 70s, and with just a few parts and knowledge, you can get that vehicle running and get you back and forth to work or wherever you want to go. It just depends on if you want to make it a quality vehicle or try to restore it back to somewhat of its natural form. But the electric vehicles, you won't be able to do any of that. You'll have to have a battery, and then you'll have to have, even if you had that car and you had the shell of it with no battery in it, you're going to have to purchase a battery to fit in that vehicle or have that one rebuilt. And it depends on the lithium for this battery and where you're going to purchase all these components for that battery. That's the key. I mean, you look in a vehicle like that, there's not many moving parts other than there's some gears and a tire and some brakes and steering mechanism and all electronics in it. But basically, that vehicle is all battery. So I just think before the electric vehicle got too high, it's gonna come down to crashing down to reality, and it might end up taking the place of a hydrogen vehicle. Who knows? You look on YouTube or one of these other videos, you can find guys that are building hydrogen and transforming their gas powered vehicle into hydrogen. That might be a better form of transportation or process or power into a vehicle than the electric part of this. So I don't see the rise of the electric vehicle for very long. I just think that there's not enough materials to last. The process will be expensive, shipping that all over the world. I mean, we're right now we're having a hard enough time with the chips to get in these cars to get the computers running properly. So you're talking all of a sudden you're going to raise the cost of lithium or nickel, and that's going to be in short supply or shipping it all over the world. The demand for it, whether it's cars or planes or cell phones, I just don't see it as a long-term answer to carbon neutral. So if you guys would, I appreciate you sharing this with your friends and your family, liking it wherever you're seeing this video, whatever platform you're on. If you would, give a thumbs up to it. If there's a subscribe button, subscribe. If there's any type of bell you got to hit or any kind of process you got to do in order to get these videos in your possession as soon as I release them, I'd appreciate that. And if you guys would comment, I would appreciate the comments. It helps my ego. And also, if you guys are looking for some food, whether it's nuts, seeds, or berries, whether it's flour, whether it's meat or dairy, whether it's vegetables, whatever it may be, and you're looking at just a small quantity, or you're looking for a bulk, extreme amount of bulk that you can share with your friends, your family, or you can actually sell it, there's a link in the description below, and you can tap on that link and it'll send you to the website and you can purchase. I mean, it's just a plethora of information, products to read, to understand, to find, and to whatever you're looking for, whether it be oatmeal or I don't know, gravy or honey or whatever it may be. I mean, it's all there. And what the process is this: they'll send it directly to you, or you can go to a community area that they actually ship a semi to us. Now, this is all wholesale pricing. So what happens is a lot of time your community, there's a community person in charge, and they'll get, how many unlimited amount of people that want this product shipped to them, and they'll ship it in a semi, and you just meet at a designated location, and it's fantastic. So if there's not one in the area, you can start it. If there's one in the area, they'll set you up what day and time it comes in. And you just like any other website, you look through the products, you pick out what you want. It gives you the total, you pay for it, and whether you want to ship directly to your home or if you want to wait, and once a month they'll ship it to to that community location. It's a great deal. I've been using it for years and years and years. And anyways, you guys have a great day. I will see you on the next video. Bye now.